Hi everyone, I recently came across a trending video where a bride complained about the services she received from a decorator. Well, let's see what both parties had to say.
But this is about the vendor who nearly ruined my wedding. Hannah's Events, who was the decorator for our wedding, was contacted in July. She had her first meeting with our creative director on the 30th of July, and that was where discussions around the theme, the colors, and all of the things that we needed to decorate on that day were discussed. Ended up paying around 8 million naira for her alone. Now, not only did she not deliver on the brief, she took full payments ahead of time. She did not, in fact, deliver up to 40% of what was paid for. And on top of not delivering, she delayed our ceremony by 3 to 4 hours. So we had agreed to start our court ceremony at 11 a.m. and we did not end up starting till past 2 because the hall was nowhere near ready. Like, they were painting. They were painting in the hall when we were supposed to be seated. She also took 3 other jobs that day, after alluding to the creative director that she is not greedy and so she will not be taking any other jobs. She in fact did take 3 other jobs that day and decided to mess up my own day.
On the 30th of July, the first planner reached out to us, told us about our best friend wedding coming up December 20th and how they're on a budget constraint. Their budget was 5 million naira. And yeah, she sent an inspiration of a very known event decorator in the industry. Later in October, we had an hall inspection with the planner. And there were a lot of increments. There were a lot of changes that were coming in from the bride sister. On the 19th, which was the setup day, I had an event on Wednesday, but I had to sacrifice my time to be there for pre-constructions. Because the hall had an event, we could not come in to do any major constructions. Said event did not end until past 12 midnight, until first wedding's day. The decorator left just 2 things behind. We had a lot of constructions to be done outside by the photo areas. Part of these constructions requires nothing less than 48 hours. And calculate it, we have less than 10 hours to execute this job. In order to expedite a teardown process of the previous job that happened before the first event, my team had to join the 2-man power that the decorator left behind to tear down before we could start coming in for our own setup. This tear down and clearing took us 3 good hours before we could commence our own setup in the hall. Around 7 a.m., the bride sister came into the hall. And that was where the problem started from. After she came in, she started changing a 4 hours work in progress setup that my team members have been doing just because she doesn't like the design. Which means she had to tell them to start all over again. Please mind you, this is still a work in progress. Out of the 7 to 9 hours I would propose to use, it automatically means that 4 hours have gone down the drain.
So, you watched the video, and this is my take on it. You have to learn to say no if you're in the creative space. I know we don't like saying no. Yeah, we want to take on every job we can. But I'm going to explain to you why I say you have to know how to say no. Now, for example, you know the decoration you're going to do is going to take you minimum 40 to 48 hours. But you only have the space available for 12 hours. You are asking to do the impossible. You just can't do it. So you have to be able to tell the client that either change your mood board and let's do something different, which we know we can complete in 12 hours. Or alternatively, say, I'm so sorry, I'd love to do your job. Please call me next time, but here is your money back. Your brand is more important than anything else. Imagine if you had said no, the worst that's going to happen is that they turn around and say to, oh, she's very arrogant, she's very this, she's very that. But that's where it's going to stop. And people will appreciate your integrity. If your client comes to you and says, this is the mood board I want, you've signed off on it, you've agreed the price, you've done everything, and then a day before or on the day of the venue, a sister or somebody or cousin or whoever comes and says, no, we want to change it, we want you to do this, we want you to do that. You have to say no. Your mood board is like a contract. It's what you would agree, that's what you've done the pricing on. Because if you suddenly decide to change at that time and you don't complete it, they're not going to blame the person that told you to come and change it. They're going to blame you for not doing what you were supposed to do. Always be prepared to advise the client. All right? You have to advise the client as a professional because that's what you are. As a professional, you turn around and you say to them, this is what I can do, this is what I can't do. I asked you to please book the venue the day before. Unfortunately, it was either not available or you did not want to pay to book it. So therefore, I cannot achieve what you want to achieve in that short space of time. Guys, it's like trying to build a house. You come and tell me I should build a 20-foot skyscraper in 1 week. It cannot happen. So why are you trying to do things as a creative that you know cannot actually take place? All right? The other thing is, if you're going to take on multiple jobs, we all love money. I love money. You love money. If you want to take on multiple jobs, do you have the capacity to do it? For example, very recently, we had 3 jobs happening simultaneously and they were all multi-day jobs. I had to sit down with my team and we had to think about what the resources needed. Which staff do we have? Do we have the right professionals that could do the job at each of the different venues? And we had to be sure that for each job that we were doing, it was going to be done at 100% capacity level. If you cannot do each job, if it's multiple jobs at that level, say no to one of them or 2 of them, if that's what you have to do. Because once your reputation gets damaged, it's very, very hard to bring it back. Extremely hard. And in conclusion, think through your processes. Know what you can do, know what you can't do. Have your plan A, your plan B, and your plan C. Know what are the issues you need to mitigate against. And finally, and most importantly, know when to say no.